Hello, my name is Ethan Johnson, and I did my human rights report on Ethiopia, and I gave Ethiopia a C minus due to the human rights issues and the current news that has been happening in Ethiopia this year. As you can see from these two photos regarding all the other countries in Africa, this country is medium sized. Let's just get into the facts and figures, and I'll be talking about the demographics right now. The total population of Ethiopia is 107,534,882. Female population being the majority, and the population growing at an annual rate of 2.46%. The languages are vast. They have many languages, and English is also spoken between business transactions. Their religion, their dominant religion, is Ethiopian Orthodox. Their second religion that is most dominant is Muslim. Let's just get into the historical background a little bit. Ethiopia is a very unique African country and more unique than all the other rest. Ethiopia has a rich history filled with so much culture, and unlike all the other African countries, Ethiopia has maintained freedom from colonial rule, with the exception of a short-lived Italian occupation in 1936 to 1941. However, they still remain colonization free, unlike all the other African countries. And that is great because that doesn't take away from all the other culture that Ethiopia has with the tribes that I will get into when I talk about the images of Ethiopia. Ethiopia has gone through a border war with Eritrea in the late 1990s, but it ended with the peace treaty in December 2000. And in November 2007, the Eritrea Ethiopian Border Commission issued specific coordinates as virtually demarcating the border and pronounced its word finished. Let's just get into the human rights issues because I want to talk about something very interesting: the torture and arbitrary detention. Ethiopia's security personnel, including plainclothes security, intelligence officials, federal police, special police, and military, frequently torture political detainees held in official and secret detention centers to coerce confessions or the provision of information. Many of the arrested said that they were tortured in detention, including in military camps too. And several women alleged that security forces raped and sexually harassed them when they were in detention. Individuals peacefully expressing dissent are often charged under the repressive anti-terrorism law and accused of belonging to one of the three domestic groups that the government has designated as terrorist organizations. The charges carry punishments up to life in prison, and that's one of the biggest issues. Let's go into the current news, because I want to talk about something very interesting. I read this current news update about Ethiopians taking to Pizza Hut. It shocked me because you would never think that there would be a Pizza Hut in Ethiopia. Ethiopia has maintained freedom from colonial rule, but still Western people are trying to westernize Ethiopia. Now let's go to the non-governmental organizations. There is this one organization called Save the Children. Only 29% of girls 15 or older are literate. 35% of school-aged children are out of school. 59 out of 1,000 children die before their 5th birthday. 27% of children are engaged in child labor, and 30% of people live in poverty. And this doesn't even talk about the drought issue that they are going through. Now let's talk about these images that I want to talk about. Speaking of droughts, I came across this photo of a woman, Sada Mohammed, and she stands in front of her temporary shelter near a remote village in the Somali region of Ethiopia, which is experiencing the country's worst drought in 50 years. As you can see, it's dry. This next photo is 4 women from the Hemer tribe, one of the few remaining Ethiopian tribes. And the reason I put this photo in my human rights report is because Ethiopia is growing, and not just population wise, but socially wise. And there are not that many tribes. And to know that there are few tribes that are still going and are still living and are still flourishing is great to me. And then this is one photo where the Omoros and the Somalis clash. There's an outrage, an uproar among the population of Ethiopia. Thank you so much for listening to my Ethiopia human rights report, and I'll get back to y'all later. Bye, guys.